So when you read your astrology chart, what you're really reading is energies. The sun rules Leo. The reason why Leos, traditional Leos, feel like they are the center of the universe is because the planet that rules them is the sun. So if you know any Leos, you also understand the energy of the sun because the sun expresses itself through this sign. It's very sensitive. It shines. It's the center of the universe, and the light manifests in a Leo in a way that Leo is supposed to use that energy to lead and guide other people. But here's the issue. When you have a Leo who's underdeveloped, so if you're a Leo on here and you're underdeveloped, the problem is you use this energy to get energy for yourself. You become a taker. So it's two ways to express this energy. You can either be a taker or you can be a giver. If you're insecure, you underdeveloped spiritually, if you don't know yourself really at the deep levels, they try to dominate the room and need people to pay attention to them. It's a need. Leo on his higher octaves, it rules by shining the light and allowing people to follow their lead. The sun glyph looks like this in your astrology chart. The next zodiac sign is Mercury. Mercury is the sign that represents the mind, the thinking, the intellect, the speech, technology. Mercury is the mind. Mercury is thought. Mercury is intellect. Mercury is speech. Mercury is technology. Mercury is speed. Which zodiac signs does Mercury rule? What does Mercury influence? How does Mercury show up in your life? Here's how. It's in two different zodiac signs. Virgo, and the other one is Gemini. So let's talk about the differences between Gemini and Virgo and how Mercury shows up in Gemini and Virgo or Gemini. Remember, this is the ruler. Anytime that you want to understand about a zodiac sign, go back to the ruler and you'll understand the basic nature of the zodiac sign. So if you know any Virgos and you know any Geminis, they are very mental. They think, they have intellect, they have speech, they can deal with technology, they're fast thinking. It's about intellect and the mind. But how do we use this intellect and mind is shown best through Gemini and Virgo. This is the house that it feels most comfortable in. The Virgo, it uses the mind to categorize, pay attention to small details. It uses the mind to move projects forward inch by inch and correct small things. Virgos have a tendency to criticize other people because when you're dealing with a sharp mind, the mind can understand what is missing, what should be, what shouldn't be, the details. Earth elements are very slow moving, very practical though. Frugal with money. It will only spend money on things that are meaningful. It won't spend money on things that are frivolous. Whatever house Virgo's in, you look for Mercury to see how it behaves. We'll talk about that later. Mercury through Gemini is an air sign. Air signs are not as practical and grounded and methodical and frugal as Virgos. They are much more free. Think about the element of air. The element of air is liberated, it's free, it moves quickly, it's fluid. Virgo is fluid in the earth way. It changes things and adjusts things in the earth way. But Gemini is so much more expansive because air is expansive. Try to catch some air. You can't do it. But pick up a piece of earth and you can. You can study the details and the minerals of earth. But you can't do that with air. Gemini is non-committal. It likes to move around. It is an intellectual opportunist. If Gemini finds out a fact or some type of information, it's so excited to take that information and own that information as if it was its own. Gemini is like that. Gemini can play both sides of the fence. Geminis are non-committal in many things. They don't know how to really make decisions. It's almost like a Libra. That's air. But Geminis don't like sticking to decisions because there are so many options and so many things to discover out there. This is how the mind operates through Gemini. That's Mercury. Mercury shows itself through Gemini, rules Gemini, and rules Virgo. We got Venus. Now, what is Venus? Venus really represents the light. It's a dispositor of light. is two signs that Venus rules, that disposits light. And this happens in two ways. Okay? Libra and Taurus. These are the two dispositors of light. So this is light. Just think of it as light and feeling. Now, here's a challenge. So the light does two different things in these two different signs. First of all, when you're dealing with the light, this precious light, the light is very easygoing. It's very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful things in life. So when you see the light or feel the light, what you really are feeling is you feeling Venus, the dispositor of light in you. So whenever you get a light feeling, that's Venus. Whenever you get a sense of just lightheartedness, that's Venus. Whenever you feel free and carefree, that's Venus. Venus is the sign that does that. Now, if you think of light is very blinding, but this kind of light is bright and gentle. So it does two different things in Libra and Taurus. What does the light do through Libra? What the light does through Libra when it shines, well, through Taurus when it shines, is it makes Taurus believe, because it's shining so bright in Taurus, that everything is okay and nobody needs help. I'm not going to get involved in anybody's circumstances because everything seems to be okay. It'll eventually be okay. These are the love and light people. We had that. You understand that. Now, if you're a spiritual person, you understand love and light has its limits. Love and light only can become spiritual bypassing. It can be spiritual bypassing. It can be yes, it's light, but why aren't you doing anything about the circumstances in front of you? Taurus is like that. Taurus likes to stay by itself. It likes to be separate from all of the drama. It doesn't feel the need to get involved in other people's circumstances. That's how the light transmits through Taurus. So if you find a Taurus, you'll find that a Taurus is not really trying to get involved in everybody's business. Why? Because everything's fine. Okay? So they won't make decisions. They won't make the decision to get involved. They just won't do it because they're fine and everybody's fine, but they're not. But everything's fine. Libra, Venus is showing the light through Libra. This is an earth sign, by the way. This is an earth sign. So a lot of what Taurus loves is physical stuff. It likes jewelry. It likes houses. It likes physical security. It likes the flash. It likes comfort. It likes to be elegant and beautiful. It loves proportion. It loves art. It loves nature. It loves simplicity because that's how light shows through earth. Now, how does light show through air? Because Libra is air. Tauruses won't make decisions, but the light blinds Libra to the point where it can't make decisions. This light is so bright and shines on everything so brightly that the Libra feels like everything is the same. They can't make distinctions between this is better or this is worse. This is what we should do. This is what we shouldn't do. Because when the light shines, it's such a beautiful essence that it makes everything seem so equal. Makes everything seem so balanced. Problem is, things aren't balanced and decisions need to be made. So Libra has a hard time because Venus, the light, which rules Libra, you can see why Libras have a hard time making decisions now and why it likes things to be so balanced and elegant and beautiful, even in conversation, even in relationship, because the light does that. So the light through Libra, it can't make decisions because everything's so balanced and equal. Everything has so much merit. The merit over here is equal to this when it's really not. It's situational. Every single person has a different understanding or a different situation and they need different things. Libras wanting to get involved. They can't get involved. They don't know how to make a decision. But they can't weigh all the options because they shine light on every option. Venus in Taurus becomes the light in physical circumstances. Is everybody understanding that? Everybody getting that? Very difficult, baby. Yo. Everybody understanding this? Okay. Now, let's go into The next planet. The next planet, how do Libras overcome indecisiveness? That's a very good question. Libras have to take action. You have to stop weighing the balance beam of both sides, and you just need to take action. So if you're a Libra and you deal with that challenge, you just missed the first two signs or the first two planets. There we go. Okay, so you know. So if you're a Libra, you have to literally take action. Because if you sit still and you weigh options, you as a Libra are so perceptive and so wicked intelligent that, hello, how you doing? Thank you for being here. But when you're so intelligent as a Libra, you can find all the reasons why the right side has equal merit than the left side. But that doesn't help you in your situation to make a decision. The only thing that helps that is action, which is the opposite sign of Libra. Anytime you want to know how to control the weaknesses of a sign, go to its opposite sign. So if you want to control the indecisiveness of a Libra, go to Aries. Aries makes decisions without thinking at all. That's me. I'm an Aries. So that's that. Now, good question, by the way. Good question, by the way. I love the questions. If you ask questions that help everybody in the group, because everybody has questions about things. And we're not just talking about astrology. We're talking about life. Okay? We're talking about life. See? There we go. All right. Next one is Mars. Next one is Mars. I made it red because that's what it is. It's red. Mars. Only women do astrology. Bet. Okay, Mars. When it comes to Mars, what is Mars? Mars is aggressive. Mars starts things. It's a starter. It's the sign of war. It's the sign of athleticism. So let's put athlete. The athlete. It's the spear. It's action. It's strength. It's impulse. It is I amness. It's the true I am. This is Mars. This is Mars. Mars is a very it's a war sign, or it's a war planet. Now it rules two signs. It rules on one side. It rules Aries. On the other side, make sure y'all can see this. It rules Aries on one side, and on the other side, it rules Scorpio. Now you're going to see similarities. You're going to see similarities in both of these zodiac signs. Love for my boy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's talk about the two. How does Mars, the war sign, express itself through Aries, and how does it express itself through Scorpio? We're going to see. And you'll see that the main influence is still Mars. There's always the main core influence of a zodiac sign is always the planet. It's never the sign itself. If the planet wasn't there, the sign wouldn't have a dispositor for the energy. The planet is the ruler of the energy. Okay? Let's talk about Scorpio first. So Scorpio is actually what element is it? Anybody know? Anybody know what the element is for Scorpio? Y'all know. It's water. It's water. What's the element of Aries? What's the element of Aries? It's fire. Now, what's the difference? Water is very different than fire. Mars is a war sign. But water is a psychic, compassionate energy. Water, not Scorpio. Water. Water is psychic, intuitive, compassionate, and loving. So how does this make sense when we got a starter war sign, spear, action, strength, and impulsive in this water sign? Well, what's going on? Well, the Mars nature, which is about war, it's on a war path, expresses itself in the Scorpion as an emotional obsessiveness. It's destructive in a lot of ways. It's self-destructive, and it destroys with its emotion. So Scorpios can be impulsive. That's Mars. It's all about action and impulse. Mars can be very impulsive in a Scorpio to make Scorpios do things they didn't want to do. Well, it balances itself out with water. So when Mars, the war sign, shows up in a water sign, it becomes deeply psychic. It becomes deeply nurturing. It actually becomes healing at the core levels because remember, this spear can penetrate, and it penetrates to the core of the issue. So scorpions can solve problems at the core or at the root of the problem. It doesn't stay on surface. Scorpios are interested in your little personality. Scorpios are interested in your deep, dark secrets. And they can feel and penetrate into those deep, dark secrets using the element of water. Can you see how it's all about cutting in? That's Mars, but it does it in a watery way, which is psychic, compassionate, and feeling. It also can spark some trouble and cause Armageddons, right? This is the sign that you get a bad rap because this scorpion can do some damage. Now, look at this same exact planet expressing itself through Aries. Aries is the zodiac sign that is so impulsive and so ego-driven, and it has the largest desire to receive for the self alone, which also gives it the capability to receive for the self to give, so it can actually give the most. But it's a rebel without a cause. Rebel, where does that come from? It's a war sign. It starts stuff. It's athletic. You can see it leads with the head, leads head straight in. It does not really think about things. It takes action. It's a spirit, penetrates. So Aries really don't think about what they're saying. They care about themselves. I don't care about you, it says Aries. This Aries, you can see how Mars, this war sign, expresses itself through the Aries, a fire sign. Fire is quick and fast moving. It's no thinking. It's spiritual. It's energetic. And this is why a lot of times, just this vitality of Mars being in Aries, it makes it like a child for his whole life. Anytime you see an Aries, they're cute. They cute. They just like children, adolescent children. They can't help themselves. They just do stuff. That's Aries. That's the youngest sign. So understand this. This Mars expresses itself through Aries quickly and impulsively, but it expresses itself through Scorpio at a deep emotional level. Anybody got any questions about that? Okay, so you got fire on your sun, Scorpio sun, Aries moon. There we go. There it goes. There we go. Anybody got any questions about this? We got some intelligent people in the chat. Welcome in, y'all. So that's Mars. That's Mars. Next, we have the zodiac or the planet Jupiter. Jupiter rules two signs as well. Jupiter rules over, now Jupiter, first of all, Jupiter is the guru. It's wisdom. It's expansion. Okay, it's actually mercy in the Kabbalah. It's mercy. This is Jupiter. It's the ruler of higher learning, so it's a teacher. It's a wisdom teacher. This is Jupiter. It is joy even. This is Jupiter. Jupiter is it's the biggest planet in our solar system. It's the most expansive, and Jupiter was said to almost have been a star. So it's really beginning stages of being a star on its own. This is Jupiter. Now, what does it rule? Anybody in here, y'all probably know, huh? I already saw somebody say they're a Saggy. Okay, what does that mean? Oh, you know what it means. It rules over Sagittarius. Sagittarius, and what's the other one? Somebody tell me what the other one, there we go, Pisces. It rules over Sag and Pisces. All right, now let's talk about that. So this expansive, guru, merciful, teaching, joyful sign or planet How does it express itself through Pisces? And how does it express itself through Sag? Let's talk about it. First of all, Jupiter in Sagittarius. If you meet a Sagittarius's imagination and goals are so huge and expansive that most people just can't even comprehend what level they think on. Sagittarius can aim so far because, by the way, Jupiter is also the planet of luck. You can't really get a Sagittarius down for long. It's such an expansive planet. This Sagittarius believes that it doesn't believe. It knows what it can do. And it aims for the stars. That's what this arrow all about. It's that arrow that aims toward the stars. It can shoot for the moon. And it'll hit the moon. And then after it hits the moon, it's going to aim for a whole nother solar system. And it's going to hit that too. This is a Sagittarius. The Jupiter in Sagittarius makes the vision huge. Remember the element of Sagittarius? It's fire. Now, fire is always spiritual. It's always expansive. It's always energetic. It's always happy. It got energy. So this fire energy needs to be expressed through action. It needs action to express itself through. Sagittarius hits goals. Let me tell you, it's the fastest, quick-witted sign I've ever met in my life. They will say something out of their mouth faster than you can even imagine them thinking about it. And they just keep going. It's next. It's so quick. It's the fastest moving fire sign in the entire zodiac. That's Sag. And that's the reason why the aims and the goals are hit too. But they don't really, fire, it's insensitive. So it doesn't really care about what you think about it. It's just hitting its goals. Casanat is a Sagittarius. Don't really care about nothing except hitting the goals and testing itself. As a matter of fact, a Sagittarius will make things harder for itself because it's too easy. It's going to test its luck because it's too easy. They want to see what it can do. That's a Sag. Now, can you see how Jupiter influences this fire to do what it does? That's how that's how Jupiter expresses itself in Sag. Now, watch how different it is in the water sign. So Pisces is a water sign. Now, it's still guru, wisdom, expansion, mercy, teacher, joy, and luck. So what does Pisces do? Pisces is so lucky. It's so lucky. It's so joyful. It has so much wisdom that Pisces already knows that everything's taken care of and everybody's taken care of anyway. So guess what Pisces does? It don't do anything. You can't really get a Pisces to desire anything. Why? Because it already knows it has everything. It has joy. What else do I need? This is how Pisces is. This is why Pisces can be very lazy. Because they don't need to do anything. Pisces are the most believing sign. Why? Remember the luck and expansion? Look, the Pisces can believe. It believes, and it's also wisdom and guru. It's connected directly to the divine. So think about this. The Pisces is tuned into everything going on, and it knows at the end of the day, everything's taken care of. Problem with that is, since this Jupiter is so lucky and so joyful and so optimistic, the Pisces doesn't think it has to do anything. Now, that's very different than fire. The instinct of fire is to do stuff. But Pisces is not. Pisces is a water sign. Water does not want to do stuff. It's not his first instinct. It's very non-central. It's everywhere at once. Picks up everything at once. Totally compassionate, totally loving, totally healing, and at the same time won't do anything with it. This is Pisces. This is Pisces. So when you see a Pisces, Jupiter's acting through Pisces. If you wonder, like, why are they so relaxed? Because they're the guru. They already attained. They're spiritually awakened already coming into this lifetime. They have probably less karma than you. So they don't need to do as much. They don't feel the need to do as much. Problem is, even though everything is going to be okay, Pisces, you still have to do something. That's the missing piece on Pisces. See, Pisces can undo things, but they can't do things easily. So they have to correct their karma in this lifetime. So Jupiter has to be balanced out by other planets. That's Jupiter. Scorpios are absolutely not lazy. Water signs can be lazy for sure, but not Cancer. Cancer is not going to be a lazy sign at all. But absolutely infinite. Yes, infinite water. Literally infinite waters is a Pisces. It's so funny. So, anybody got any questions about this? Yeah, Pisces can also, let me speak on that. Pisces can get that back. That's true. Pisces can get lost in the material. Because it's losing it's almost as if the Pisces has nothing to do. It wants to escape the world, so it loses itself in finances and money. It can definitely do that. It's totally irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. That's why they unfulfilled. And they get unfulfilled the most by money. But they got the expansion. They want to connect with people, ultimately. All right? So let's move on to the next one. That's Jupiter. Now, this last planet is the last planet of your personal planets, meaning you can do something about it. You can do something about it. And this is probably one of the most interesting. And I love these signs that I'm about to go over. So the next planet is Saturn. Saturn is a very cold, dry planet. Okay? It's a cold and dry planet. So what's Saturn? Saturn is restriction. Saturn is discipline. Saturn is order. Saturn is routine. Saturn is time. One of the names for it is Chronos. Saturn is time. Okay? Saturn is organized. Saturn follows the rules. Saturn is bureaucracy. This is Saturn. When Saturn comes around, stop playing. Because Saturn is not playing. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? All right, I'm just giving you a little idea. All right, Saturn don't be playing. It has two sides to it. Now, one side, sorry for all the Virgos in here who just saw me do that. Capricorn. Capricorn and Aquarius. Okay, let's talk about this. Now, Saturn is definitely the feds. It's definitely Saturn. Okay, now, but check this out. This and this, they're very different. Capricorn as a constellation, or Saturn as a planet, faces two different directions. It does not spin. Saturn faces Capricorn, which is going down to Earth. The other side of Saturn faces the cosmos, which is going into the air or space. So think about this real quick. So Capricorn is Earth. Aquarius is air. They both get ruled by Saturn. Let's talk about that. Now, when it comes to Saturn, Saturn is going to teach you lessons the hard way. Saturn doesn't care about how bubbly your personality is. It's not here to work with your little personality. It's here to make things orderly and fix them, make them sharp, make them clean, and put them in order. It doesn't fall for your little flattery tricks. Saturn is not about that. That is the reason why Aquarians and Capricorns also don't fall for your tricks. Capricorn doesn't care about your tricks. It's moving things forward. Capricorn is a physically focused sign. And Saturn being the furthest away on the personal planets is the furthest away from spirit. But at the same time, Capricorn being grounded in Earth sometimes only sees the physical as the only thing to do. It's like, what else do I do except business and create money and create stuff and have the nicest things? What else am I supposed to do? Because Saturn is so far away from the sun, which is the soul. But this is the good thing about Capricorn. It's realistic and grounded in reality, meaning it can bring the light to the physical more so than any other sign. Because Aquarius is still in the sky. It's in the air. It's not really concerned with bringing anything to a practical level, a practical reality. It's totally impractical. But Capricorn uses this order, this restriction, this discipline to bring at a higher level of the soul, to bring that light down to the physical earth. That's the reason it can manifest businesses. That's the reason it eventually climbs to the top of whatever mountain it's climbing to. The Capricorn does that. The Capricorn at a higher level, spiritual level, is the initiate. It moves up the mountain and initiates to a higher level of consciousness. But mind you, Saturn dictated it. Does Saturn forget anything? No. Saturn is disciplined, orderly, and routine. It knows exactly how it got there. So if you want to learn how to awaken to higher states, you have to go to, or you should go to, an awakened Capricorn. But most Capricorns are not awakened because they're so good with material that they get lost in it. But if you can find an awakened Capricorn, that's the one to listen to about how to elevate and ascend. Ascension is not some esoteric thing. Look, people who make the most money are the most ascended. It's about your consciousness. Most people focus on how to do a sale. Capricorns focus on how to build the whole infrastructure and be the top of the infrastructure. That's Capricorn. Earth. Now, let's apply Saturn to Aquarius. Now, Saturn in Aquarius, remember, it's facing the stars. The Aquarian is so concerned with fixing the whole world that it forgets the individual. That's because his head is in the clouds. Aquarians are all in space. They want to be humanitarian for everybody, but forgets there's individuals there. So they try to blanket everybody into one thing because all they're doing is looking at the stars. But it's also known as the water bearer. So Aquarians can take the influence from the stars because why? It's restriction. It's a container for it. And it becomes the container to pour out the blessings of the cosmos onto the people. It nourishes the people. That's what Aquariuses can do, but many times don't. Aquarians have the biggest egos in the world, along with Aries. Why? Because Saturn knows everything. It's actually the most knowing planet. So that in the air sign, which is mentally dominated, I don't even need you. Here the problem with Aquarius is though, they're so unconventional and they're so unique and they destroy structures rather than build them that they really can't get anything practically done. They're dreaming all the time. That's the issue with Aquarians. But if the Aquarian can get grounded and realize there are individuals in the real world, and you have to deal with people on an individual level too, and you also are an individual, then the Aquarians can come down to earth and deal with the people and actually do something that makes sense for them rather than trying to fix the whole system. Okay? So, Aquarians, yes, they are geniuses. Yes, they know, but totally impractical. When you realize the way the planets work, here's how you realize what goes on. When you realize how each sign works, you realize each one's weakness too. So how do you control your Aquarian ways of being so impractical? Go to Leo. Leo is an individual. You have to actually be a center in a part of the system to rise out of the system and lead people out of it. You can't do that if you're an Aquarius, just a pure Aquarius. Capricorn, how do you get out of this physically dominated focus? We got Cancer on the other side. It's dealing with home, the heart, love, emotions. Like, what? Emotions? Okay. Yes, emotions, your home. That's probably where you're going to get the most joy from, is the home. That's a Capricorn. Capricorns don't get that. They at work all day. It's like, what are you talking about? In order to control and ground this Capricorn, you have to actually control the home. Now, look, everybody in this room, we just went over every single planet of that you can control. Let me tell you something. This is what I do for people. If you want, everybody got issues in their lives. You have something that you want to create, can't do it. If you don't know how to work with the planets in your chart, you will keep running up against the wall and not know what wall you're running into. You need to know what planet is dominating and influencing your life more so that you can deal with it and free up the energy to create what you want. This is the reason that I do astrology, and I believe astrology probably is one of the most important things. And if you want it, I recommend you either get an astrology book. I'm going to show you the one I recommend. I don't recommend most astrologers. I don't recommend. Why? They don't really know anything. They just studied astrology. I'm not an astrology studier. I have studied the universe. I created real businesses. And I use the energetics of the planets in me to overcome myself to create businesses. I took a dude from losing $3,000 to a week to making $15,000 a week in his business in 6 months. How did we do that? We walked in, we assessed the situation, and we used energy to guide the people in the right direction to create miracles, opportunities, and take advantage of the opportunities to put it in place. Look, if you think it's all logic, that's your issue. You'll realize if you're a very logical person and you're trying to deal completely in logic, number one, you don't make many decisions. Your decisions are all intellectual. You try to be so intellectual. It don't work, does it? And also on the other side, if you're so emotional and intuitive, you realize that energy don't go so far when you actually need some practical help. This is the reason that you need to understand your astrology chart. Every single one of the zodiac signs has a complement or an opposite. It has a complement or an opposite. You need to know what the opposites are. Opposite of 1 is 7. You need to know Aries and Libra combo. If you don't know your combo, you most likely won't be able to operate correctly in your relationships, in your long-term partnerships, and you won't be able to be fulfilled there. If you don't know your opposite of 4 being 10, if you don't know the opposites, you're probably not going to function in your home or career that well. If you don't understand how to balance those two. If you don't understand the in-betweens, you won't know how to transition from being yourself to building a home, your interpersonal. If you don't know how to build, you won't know how to go from the home to the world. You don't know how your home connects to the world. You may not know how the world connects to your career and your career connect to yourself. You won't understand it. And that's the reason you're stuck. So look, if you want, this is the only astrology book I recommend, by the way. Take a screenshot. The only one I recommend. I don't recommend any other ones. Okay, don't recommend any other ones. This is the only one I recommend. Why? Because it's not just an astrology book. You can go to astrologers. Look up astrologer on YouTube. You got everybody saying about the same thing. It's not that different. A lot of people are, it's always like this in every industry. 80 to 90% of people are just average. You can literally look at ChatGPT and look up what's Aries and Mars and Aries mean, what's this mean, and ChatGPT will tell you. What they can't tell you is they can't pick up your energy and understand how to actually succeed. That's different. So you got to merge systems. Astrology will help you accept yourself a little bit better. Astrology will help you understand why you do the things you do and help you just say, yeah, this is actually what I'm supposed to do. And I couldn't ask anybody else around me because you don't have the same placements as me. You're not like me. So I can't even ask you about me. I need to ask myself. But you don't know how to get the answers all the time. Astrology help you understand yourself and why you do what you do and help you not avoid doing the things that you're supposed to do. Like I ran businesses help people build businesses. But I realized after a while, I didn't want to be my $1 billion was a couple $100,000. I realized it's a limit to it. I want some money, yeah, but I'd rather help other people get the money to realize what they don't need. If you need $1 million, get $1 million. If you need 10 million, get 10 million. It's a way to do it. So, and I know how to help you do that, but I'm not interested. I have a soul calling. It makes me feel best and it gives me everything I want, not just some. So for the people who are ready for all that the divine has for you, I'm probably the astrologer for you. But if you want to know how to get your ex back, I'm probably not the guy. If you want to know if I'm going to be rich, you're missing the point. Okay, if you ask it if I'm going to be rich, you decide if you're going to be rich or not. And you decide that. It's a system. It's a creation system. Everything manifests in the exact same way. It happens spiritually first. You have to understand spiritual principle and operate in it. Then you have life principles. Then you have business principles. And after that, you take action. But most people on the internet deal with just the business principles or business actions. It's the lowest level of the pyramid on success. You cannot operate and keep your success unless you operate on spiritual principle. Or else you'll go in a circle, because this is a circle. You have it, you lose it, you get it again, and you lose it. Do you want to keep going in a circle? That is your decision. Me personally, I help people to find and keep and amplify what they have and be the best benefit to the universe. Now, anybody got any questions on that? By the way, if you want a reading from me, message me up here. I do readings, and I do discounts for the people who are on my lives. That's if you want that. Anybody got any questions before we get off here? Anybody got any questions before we get off here? By the way, Empathy Empire, that's my girl, y'all. That's my girl. Yeah. Read me, please. I'll read you. Just you message me. I'm not doing it live. Come on. How do we work with our moon sign? Good question. You work with your moon sign. Your moon is your inner world. You don't necessarily really work with the moon sign, to be honest with you. It's just emotional regulation. So the moon in certain signs are more expressive or less expressive. You got to know which one it is. So my moon is in Cancer. It's at home. So I'm very intuitive and I'm very connected, and I could just pick up on people's intentions and if they real or not. That's just a natural place for the moon. But if the moon was in Virgo or the moon was in Capricorn, you would need to learn how to tap into your emotions a little more. If your moon is in Scorpio, you may need to tone down. You may need to come out of your emotions and start thinking a little more clearly. It just depends. So that's how you work with the moon. It depends on what sign it's in. Okay? Spiritual principles are the universal laws. Absolutely. So spiritual principles are universal laws, and the way that the laws interact with each other is the key. So you can know the laws. A lot of people know universal laws. But the question is, like, how do I work them for myself? Like, how do I actually make them work? That's the hard part. You can't just go to any astrologer to do that. You have to go to somebody who actually worked the principles to create physical stuff. Because without physical stuff, how am I supposed to know if you're telling the truth or not? You need some evidence. The only two things that present physical evidence are health and money. So people who have astrologers who've never run a business that is not astrology business, I don't trust those astrologers. And the reason why is because you never created anything physical. So I don't really trust that you know the physical laws of the universe to create something. I have to know that you actually did that. Okay? Ways of finding your sacred calling. The sacred calling is all in your north and south node. We didn't go over the points, but it's north and south node. That is how you find your purpose, and it's not what you think. So when it comes to your sacred calling in your job is never your sacred calling. That's the trick. So when you realize that your job is not your sacred calling, it's just your vocation, it's just where you are, then you behave and dress and act within the constraints of that place, but that's not your calling. Your calling is a soul thing. Your calling is to remove the negativity from your soul, to let in all that's yours. See, what people do now, if you do this with a regular astrologer, I'm going to just tell you, They'll tell you what your vocation is. They'll tell you where your career is. But if you do it out of alignment, you're actually taking money that doesn't belong to you. And guess what you have to do? You lose it because you have to give it back. And you're left empty at the end of a career that was supposed to be your calling. It never was your calling. That's why people fail. And they keep failing. Because you fail until you do what God wants you to do. The divine wants you to do. Unless you're doing what the divine wants you to do to clear your soul, you will never succeed long term. Okay? How did I learn this? I learned this from direct experience. I ran companies. I helped other people with companies grow their companies. I helped people overcome trauma and healing. We had healing groups where we healed people with cancer. And look, caveat, go to your doctor. Don't listen to me. I'm not a doctor. Gotta say that. Look, we help people cure cancer. It was a woman who was beefing with her mom for years. Her mom tried to take her kids from her. We did a healing with using the real laws of the universe, real energy, understanding the real energies. She gets a call from her mom after the call saying sorry and apologizing after years of beef. We had a girl who used to wear glasses. She doesn't wear glasses anymore. Her eyes were restored. This is the kind of stuff we did in real life using energies. I manifested a $21,000 direct deposit using actual laws of the universe. And when I say 21,000 direct deposit, I'm not talking about I did sales for it. No, they put the money in my account. I did not. That wasn't supposed to happen. I called them and said, look, money's in my account. They said, there's nothing I can do about it. Keep it. We'll send you the tax bill. That is the type of stuff I'm talking about. So real results in real life that prove the laws of the universe work. Out of thin air, yeah. $10,000 of rent getting paid. Nobody even stays. I was in an apartment for 10 months and I couldn't pay the rent. At that time, I was super struggling. Guess what? $10,000 of rent got paid. No eviction from working real principles of the universe. I realized that situation came to me to practice my faith and applying the law. So people who haven't manifested physical stuff in their real life at scale, I don't trust them with spiritual advice. You have to have physical stuff manifest, and that's health or money. Now, mind you, the most important thing is your spiritual connection. You can't measure that though, but it's the most important. The second most important is your relationship. I don't know your relationship. You don't know mine. I'm happy, but I could just tell you I'm happy. I'm unbelievably happy, but you wouldn't. I'm just saying that. How are you supposed to prove that, right? But are you a Leo rising? My Leo actually in the 12th house. You wouldn't have guessed that. That's because I rose above my astrology chart. I'm going to just tell you that. I'm an Aries though, so that's probably what you experience. But I'm rising above my zodiac, my astrology chart, and that's the intent. You don't want to be stuck in it. You want to rise above it. And that's where the 13th zodiac sign comes from. It's actually the sign above the signs. It's who you really are. That's not affected and put in prison by the astrology chart. This is what I help people do. Okay? So anybody got any questions? Good questions, y'all. Y'all got some good questions. Anybody got any questions? I really want y'all to get what you want. The spiritual systems, I teach the spiritual systems to get everything you want, not the physical ones. Not the physical ones. Okay, the spiritual laws, the spiritual way to get everything you want. It always works. How to book, just go up, direct message me. I'll put you on my Telegram. I'll help you out. And I'm booked up. I get booked up pretty quick. So if I book you right now, I probably won't get to you for 4 or 5 days because that's how far out I'm booked right now, probably 4 or 5 days. But I'll get to you and I'll do a audio and then we'll do a video and we'll go over the steps to actually create something. Not just here's some information. No, how do I create is what we go over. Farah, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for the compliments. How do we rise above? That's a whole nother video. Whole nother video. Whole nother video. That's a whole other video. But you could do it. But yeah, Brooklyn, just message me. Message me up here. And then I think you're in the Telegram too, so most likely just message me on the Telegram. How did you learn the life laws? First, pain. That's first. You have to be in so much pain and be so arrogant and cocky like me and know everything in the universe first. And then realize you don't know anything. That's the first step. And once I realized I was arrogant, cocky, full of myself, and I'm at the top of the world, I'm teaching everybody, that's when I got broken down to realize you don't know shit. Excuse my French. But then I started to really seek help. And it's only when you desperately need help that you get it. You have to accept the fact that you don't know anything at the deepest level. Not like the people who announce it like, yes, only thing I know is that I don't know. As Plato said that. I'm talking about you have to be by yourself in the dark, knowing that nobody can help you. And then you can reach them levels where you pull up the information and then the right books will come to you and people. Matter of fact, if y'all are on this live right now, I probably came to you for a reason. It's probably not an accident that I came to you. A lot of people who come to me are people who were in the church before or in a religion before, and they left the religion, but it's no structure outside of religion. So they're looking for the higher spiritual structure so that they can work with it. That's the people who I work with. Because it's the people who realize, all right, it is a divine presence. I want to work with that presence. But I can't do that through a church. I can't do that through the mosques and temples because something's missing. I need something that really resonates with the truth of reality and my emotion at the same time. It needs to be true and I need to feel good. Both. That's what happens here. That's my mission in life. Okay? Yeah, hey. Pisces is one of my favorite zodiac signs. I don't have a lot of Pisces in my life, oddly. But they are one of my favorite zodiac signs. But I don't have a lot of them in my life. Interesting. So what you heal inside has a ripple effect on others close to you. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, when you start... Yes, and everything is... And DNA has a lot to do with this. When you start to heal your inside, and it's not really healing, it's releasing light is what it is. It's not really healing. See, people get healing mixed up. People go on a healing journey forever and they always healing. Yeah. That's not actually how it works. It's turning on the light. And when you turn on the light, it's just the darkness goes away because it's just darkness. It's contracted energy. So once you turn on the light, it's like a radiation, a light that comes off of you. It's a radiation of light that comes off you and it starts affecting people connected to your DNA. It affects 7 generations down from your children too. So well after you're dead and gone, you can affect the next 7 generations of your kids. And people scared to have kids in this world and for good reason. But if you are spiritually attuned, you don't have any fear to have kids in this world because the kids that you have are going to turn on the light into the world and radiate into the world and fix things. That's what happened. What does a reading consist of? Very good question. So I read your chart and I do an audio. First, you send me every goal that you have. Remember, I'm a results-oriented reader. I am not going to just tell you some theory. So first, you send me your goals. What are you wanting to do? I read the chart, look at the aspects of the chart and find out what's going on just in the structure of your chart. And then I do an audio. I'll send you a full audio and a breakdown with the written problem solutions to whatever you asked me, to whatever you wrote down and wanted questions on. After that, you need to digest that for a couple of days. I can even make meditations for you, but you digest it for a couple of days. Then we do a follow-up after you had time to digest it. And then once you had time to digest it, we do a follow-up. That's usually when you have questions. Those questions on the follow-up call are going to be more potent than the ones that you sent me through the text. Okay? That's how I do my readings. Why? Because I want you to get results. I'm not just trying to do a reading for you. And the people who usually come to me, they come to me over and over and over again. And I'm talking about, I recommend every 3 months. I recommend every 3 months come back because different things it changes in the universe, and it depends on what you're doing. If you wanted to start a business, you probably want to get a reading. If you're thinking about getting married, you probably want a reading. If you want kids, probably want a reading. If you want to help with your kids, I'll read you and your kids' chart to see what karma is there, what you need to fix in yourself to activate the child. That's how we do it. See, that's my girl, yeah. See, you ain't my girl. I'm telling you. If y'all knew, you know a man by his girl. I'm gonna be real. You know a man by his woman. Alicia, if you meet her, she's so to herself. She ain't really gonna be all out here like that. If you meet Alicia, you understand me. If you meet Alicia, that's what you understand me. Love my girl, man. Love my girl, man. Changed my life, bro. Love my girl. Anybody got any questions? Make me emotional, man. Anybody got any other questions before we get off here? If you want to read, like I said, just message me. I'll hit you up.
Tell them how to connect with you. Give them your YouTube. Tell them about your Patreon.
I'm gonna do all of that in the Telegram because I don't want to do all of the promotions and stuff. I just want you to get connected with me. We're gonna get on a call.
Well, they want to know.
Okay, yeah, here we go. So my YouTube, easiest one is the Joshua Livingston. That's my YouTube if y'all want to see that. All right, yeah, we both in each other's profile. All right, look, any other questions? These are good questions. I appreciate y'all. I do whole sign for that question. If I do Placidus, I do whole sign. Yeah, it's 2 sessions. And it's 2 sessions, yeah. And you need 2 sessions. You really can't get everything in 1 session. You need a follow-up. That's just my belief. You need a follow-up. See? Hey, Garrett, you done been here a while. If you don't watch me before, girl. Yeah. You done been here a minute.
Are you hungry?
I'm pretty hungry, yeah. Garrett, nice seeing you here, buddy. Salute to you. Anybody got any other questions? This is a great session. I come live every so often. When I pop on here, I try to give you a game. Try to give you some game, help you understand some things. I believe astrology is one of the best tools in the universe. It's so universal. It's such a universal language for understanding yourself and other people and what things to change. But I love y'all. I'm about to hop off here. Y'all have a beautiful day. If you want to connect with me, just message me. Or my YouTube. You can go to my YouTube. I think it's connected up here. So you can go to my YouTube. But I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful